Namaskar, welcome to our special coverage of the AI Impact Summit 2026. Any moment now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the AI Impact Summit Expo at the Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi. And this landmark event, it brings the global conversation on artificial intelligence to the heart of the global south. Now, over the next 5 days, leaders from more than 100 countries, top technology companies as well, startups, universities, policymakers, they are going to converge at Bharat Mandapam to explore the future of AI under the summit's three sutras, which are people, planet and progress. I'm Mark, with me is Gautam.
Thanks, Mark. Now, from responsible innovation and human capital development to safe and trusted artificial intelligence, the summit will spotlight 7 key pillars for shaping the next era of digital transformation. There are 13 international pavilions from Japan and Germany to Australia and across Africa. This is not just India's moment, but a truly global dialogue on how artificial intelligence can drive inclusive growth and resilience. We'll bring you live updates, exclusive interviews, and insights into how AI is poised to impact, empower, and redefine all our lives, charting a smarter, more sustainable future through this special program.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to inaugurate the India AI Impact Expo 2026 at New Delhi's Bharat Mandapam. And the India AI Impact Expo 2026 is being held alongside the India AI Impact Summit at the Bharat Mandapam. So it's spread across 10 arenas covering more than 70,000 square meters.
Yes, the Expo brings together global technology firms, startups, academia and research institutions, also union ministries, state governments as well as international partners. The Expo also features 13 country pavilions, including those from Australia, Japan, Russia and the UK. The pavilions will highlight international collaboration in the AI ecosystem.
It's hosting over 300 curated exhibition pavilions and live demonstrations structured across 3 thematic chakras, in fact sutras, people, planet and progress.
In addition, the Expo features over 600 high-potential startups, many of them building globally relevant and population-scale solutions. The event is expected to attract over 250,000 visitors, including international delegates, fostering new partnerships and unlocking business opportunities across the global AI ecosystem. And
welcoming the participants who are coming from all over the world to India for this India AI Impact Summit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on social media platform X expressed pride over the summit, which shows the capability of the country's youth. Now he said, and I quote, "This occasion is further proof that our country is progressing rapidly in the field of science and technology and is making an important contribution to global development."
In fact, in a series of posts on social media platform X, Prime Minister Modi wrote, and I quote again, "Bringing the world together to discuss AI. Starting today, India hosts the AI Impact Summit at Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi. I warmly welcome world leaders, captains of industry, innovators, policymakers, researchers and tech enthusiasts from across the world for the summit. The theme of the summit is Sarvajan Hitai, Sarvajan Sukhai, or welfare for all, happiness for all, reflecting our shared commitment to harnessing artificial intelligence for human-centric progress." End quote.
Well, AI today is transforming several sectors, including healthcare, education, agriculture, governance and enterprise. The AI Impact Summit will enrich global discourse on diverse aspects of AI, such as innovation, collaboration, responsible use and more. And this is the Prime Minister again speaking. I am confident that the outcomes of the summit will help shape a future that is progressive, innovative and opportunity-driven.
And the PM also said, and I quote again, "Thanks to the 1.4 billion people of India, our nation stands at the forefront of the AI transformation. From digital public infrastructure to a vibrant startup ecosystem and cutting-edge research, our strides in AI reflect both ambition and responsibility." End quote.
Well, New Delhi is the epicenter of global artificial intelligence dialogue as India is hosting the 5-day-long India AI Impact Summit 2026 at the Bharat Mandapam till the 20th of this month. And the formal opening ceremony will be led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday, that's the 19th of February. But the summit will bring together, as we said, global leaders, policymakers, innovators, experts. They're coming from all across the world to deliberate on the way forward on AI and its impact.
The invitation, Prime Minister Modi, heads of 20 nations and ministerial delegations from 45 other nations are participating in the summit. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and officials from other international organizations are also joining the deliberations. The summit is being positioned as the first major global AI gathering in the global south. It has come at a time when global AI ecosystems are undergoing a significant shift. While large language models have shown rapid progress, policymakers and experts have increasingly highlighted the need for stronger data governance, diversified AI architectures, and sector-specific deployment.
Well, these are the names of leaders who will be attending the event at the invitation of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. We can see several leaders, world leaders, and also leaders of various institutions. Now, the summit's deliberations are organized through chakras or working groups. They are structured around 7 interconnected thematic areas, and the 7 chakras or working groups are human capital, advancing equitable skilling and inclusive workforce transition for an AI-enabled future of work.
The second one is inclusion for social empowerment, advancing AI systems which are inclusive by design, empowering diverse communities and ensuring equitable representation.
And the third chakra is safe and trusted AI, building globally trusted AI systems anchored in transparency, accountability, and shared safeguards for innovation.
There's also science, harnessing AI to accelerate frontier science, foster scientific collaboration, and translate breakthroughs into shared global progress at number 4.
And number 5 is resilience, innovation, and efficiency, driving sustainable, resource-efficient AI systems that strengthen climate resilience and sustainability.
Number 6 chakra is democratizing AI resources, promoting equitable access to foundational AI resources for inclusive innovation and sustainable development worldwide.
Well, that's one of the themes that Prime Minister has been talking about, democratizing AI. And AI also for economic development and social good, leveraging AI to enhance productivity, innovation, and inclusive development across economies and societies.
Now, standing at global center stage, Prime Minister Modi said on Friday that despite a decade marked by global disruptions, India has emerged stronger and is poised to become the world's 3rd largest economy. He also laid stress on disruptions related to artificial intelligence.
दुनिया को अब डिसरप्शन के साथ जीने के लिए तैयार रहना होगा। समय के साथ इनके नेचर में बदलाव आएगा, लेकिन ये तय है कि अब व्यवस्थाएं बहुत तेजी से बदलेगी। एआई से जो डिसरप्शन हो रहे हैं वो तो आप देख ही रहे हैं। आने वाले समय में एआई और भी क्रांतिकारी बदलाव लेकर आने वाली है। भारत इसके लिए भी तैयार है।
Well, and joining us in the studio to help us unpack the deeper meaning of the AI Impact Summit is Professor M.K. Datta. He is the director of Amity Center for Artificial Intelligence. And also joining us via Zoom link is Prasoon Sharma, member advisor board, NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center, New York. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being with us. Mr. Datta, let me start with you. What makes this summit different from other global AI summits? Why is it different?
Well, very nice having me here. Now this Global Impact Summit, we have more than 100 plus countries participating. Interestingly, the top leadership, if you look into the big giants, the big players of AI from United States like OpenAI, you have Google. So almost all the big players are participating in a massive way. The top leadership are coming over here. There is delegations from ministry level, from the top, the government representatives of the country. A great initiative taken by our ministry under the guidance of our Honorable Prime Minister. So what I look into that is, see, AI at this moment, I'm an AI scientist, so my priorities are different. I look at it in this way: the world is sitting together to make, the ethical guidelines, the technological innovations, where the deliberations, the discussions, we look forward to something, where, the ecosystem of AI will be strengthened, because AI needs to be more responsible. It is super exciting, no doubt, but there has to be responsibility, there has to be the ethical measures coming in. So for me, it is a big step taken by our ministry to hold such a massive event. And we look forward to AI not only in a more technical prowess, but more ethical, more responsible, with more explainability and responsibility, looking forward in near future. And this will be a major catalyst. This event is expected to be a major catalyst driving towards that goal.
Right. And Prasur, if I could ask you, in terms of how it should matter to India's entrepreneurs, especially those who are in deep tech and particularly looking to leverage AI in different fields of activity, human activity, what do you think this particular summit represents? Does it represent an opportunity to showcase what they're doing, but also to gather a lot of knowledge and perhaps even set up collaborations with similar or some of these companies or countries, nations which are more advanced in this field as well, because there is an AI gap as well between the developed and the developing world, the global south.
I think all of this and many more things for Indian startups, because Indian players are not only building or innovating, they are also deploying it in a India scale manner, where nowhere in the world such large population and with different demographies exist. So India is showcasing world what in real time or in real world AI can do to improve lives, to efficiently provide governance, and also to do planet-related solutions to be implemented, whether it's green energy, whether you can monitor the battery usages, you can swap your battery usages with different apps. So India is a place where people or stakeholders are coming to see real-world deployments. And this gives opportunity to Indian problem solvers, whether it's startups or MSMEs, to showcase their strength and also get this podium of AI Summit to expand globally, because with India scale and with India unit cost, they can expand globally, whether it's global south or even to the developed nations.
Right. Mr. Sharma, also, can AI, I mean, we're talking about impact here, can AI actually, or in real terms, bridge the digital divide globally?
Definitely, yes, because, it can go to the last mile, and thanks to the government, like all our panchayats are connected to digital infrastructure, so that can touch base to our villagers, and AI can create agents which can talk to them in their languages, like Bengali, Hindi, Gujarati. When a farmer who wants to initiate interactions about the present situation, what seed he can use, and there are startups like Bhu Parikshan where you can do your soil testing with a one device, which is in either post office and or some centrally located place. He can just go and do a soil test in 10 rupees of cost. And that is all because of AI. He just gets a small amount of soil from his farmland, put there, and then it gives all the suggestions that your farmland is good for this, you need these things, these kind of seeds are there, and that into, this system tells them in their own language. So this is where the technology or AI is building the gap, giving knowledge to the people or to the citizens in rural Indias. and you can see how UPI is touching base on this. So
Okay.
India is not just providing AI GPUs. They have already built a digital public infrastructure, which is like a backbone for all digital related innovations like artificial intelligence.
Right. Professor Datta, do you see this also as an opportunity to build further trust in AI? Because in a country like ours, where there are 800 million smartphone users, still the number of people, the proportion of people really using AI effectively is very low. It's around, from the data I came across, around 13%. So do you feel that this is also an opportunity to build further trust in AI in terms of not just whether you can rely on it for critical analysis and data as well, but beyond that as well, even address some of the fears around it?
Yes, very interesting question actually. In our language, we say AI to be responsible AI. So this is a buzzword that has come up. You talk about trust, but before you go to trust, let me also add, this event will actually massively sensitize people at different scales. The users, actually India is a very diversified country. For example, there is a nurse who is operating in a hospital. You have a gram panchayat, an official. So the diversity, the pipeline, the hierarchy is diversified in comparison to United States or any other nation. So now let me come to trust. When you say to trust, in my scientific language, let me explain. If you go 5 years back, 6 years back, the models used to give a answer. For example, let's say I use AI for cancer diagnostics. It will tell you, well, okay, it's a breast cancer grade 1, breast cancer grade 2, or it's fine, it's healthy. Today, when you give a decision that it's breast cancer grade 1, people are not ready to accept it unless and until there is some trust element, there is some responsibility. In our language, we say explainability. There is a new term also come up called as explainable AI. So AI is not only supposed to give a decision, but to support a decision, to bring some kind of explainability. That is where the responsibility, we call it responsible AI, and trust comes up. Let me tell you a few examples. Let's say you push in a medical remote, let's say a medical image like a radiology report to a AI model in a hospital. Let's say a medical worker is using it. It will say, okay, breast cancer diagnosis 2, grade 2. We are not happy with that. You need to give us an explanation. The AI has to generate a report just like a human being, drawing some kind of conclusions, or if it is an image, it has to make a GradCam image or some kind of, some kind of explainability, which gives us that trust. So that is the technical point of view. Otherwise, this impact is going to act as a catalyst where the sensitization will be massive. And as people starts getting sensitized about different levels at different hierarchies, they will definitely play with the things, and the trust do not come up in one day. If you look into when we, at my generation, when we shifted from checkbooks and passbooks towards the online banking, the acceptance was not easy. We were still hesitant to go back, to go for an online mode. AI has come to live. Like, for example, the internet, the online mode of banking or online mode of transaction has come up to live forever. Right. Mind you that AI also has come to in this world to live forever. Trust will not come one day. Trust will not happen overnight. But as people start playing, as people start navigating and mitigating with this kind of thing, and definitely there will be trust built up, and these kind of events will catalyze it. They will accelerate and catalyze it for sure.
True. Let's go across to Bharat Mandapam now. We are joined by our correspondent Deepika Mehto. She's joining us from Bharat Mandapam. Deepika, so, which AI breakthroughs are being showcased over there?
Good evening, Mark and Gautam. This is the first day of the much-awaited India AI Impact Summit 2026, first of its kind event which is happening in the Global South. And so many pavilions have been put up. There is an expo as well, apart from the sessions which we are witnessing on day one and which will go on across the 5-day summit, which is happening here at Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi. Talking about, because you talked about the breakthrough, expos which are happening here. There are many expos, and interestingly, many startups, around 51 startups are going to going to display and showcase their technology here at this particular event, and especially through the initiative of the Ministry of Information and Technology that this is happening, because IND has also put up a stall here where AVGC is going to get a boost. And this also brings us to the fact that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has a special vision and mission for the orange economy that has been time and again mentioned by Prime Minister Narendra Modi during the WAVE Summit now and during the AI Impact Summit as well. Now, from a very short while from now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be coming here to inaugurate the AI Impact Summit, and he will be visiting the expos here. So here we had a word with few of the expo holders who are putting their technologies on display and their companies on display, and they said that they are really awaiting the arrival of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. They are excited to showcase their technology and what they are doing for the country in the field of AI, because as our guests also have been saying, as the experts also have been saying, like we all have been talking to the industry stakeholders, including from the HCL Tech head NMD to other stakeholders who always say that AI is $1 million opportunity. We just need to regulate it in a better way. And today I happen to attend one of the sessions also where the stakeholders, industry stakeholders from across the world were a part of, including the stakeholders of NVIDIA, Mozilla, and others. And all of them said that to make any technology work better for the country, we really have to take care of the technology ourselves. And henceforth, the need to democratize it, henceforth, the need to regulate the AI is very much needed. And as also, I would like to quote one of the expert who is the MD of HCL Tech, and he said that this has been the vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and all the industry stakeholders are committed to take this vision forward, Mark, and there we will see the example of it when Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives here and meet the expo holders at AI Impact Summit in Bharat Mandapam, Mark.
Right, and Devika, just tell us, today of course is the inaugural day, so to speak, the first day of the AI Impact Summit. The Expo is going to be inaugurated very soon by Prime Minister Modi. So tell us what kind of a turnout has the day seen really there, and what sort of people have been coming from different walks of life over there? Are they AI entrepreneurs, enterprise oriented, or are they simply AI curious?
From industry stakeholders to startups, all of the stakeholders are coming here in large numbers. Even we were not expecting such sort of footfall on the first day itself, because from morning itself, so many people are coming in large number. Even the security is there trying to make the arrangements for that, so that everyone can be accommodated to different sessions. And also, Gautam, interestingly, the sessions are full house. Each of the room where the different sessions are happening, they are full house. We had a word with different stakeholders, and as you said, there are young minds also who are coming to attend these sessions. So there are people who are AI aspirants who want to become a part of the technology which is driven by great ideas and of course future centric. They were also here who want to learn about the upcoming technology, what they can do and how they can become a part of AI and this growing field. And also there were industry stakeholders who are participating for different sort of sections, right from Mozilla to NVIDIA to Google to Adobe. All of them would be coming here in coming number of days, and especially they started coming here in large numbers. As we talk about the footfall of the people, it is really happening at a very large scale, as you can see in the visuals. These are just the early morning visuals which are running currently on our screen. And here we can see that how many people are already registering for the AI Impact Summit. So it is not only about the stakeholders who are already generating money, who are already monetizing AI for good, who are also, using AI for the global good. When we talk about the 7 chakras that have been mentioned in all the areas, when we talk about AI for human capital, AI for global good, but also for the young minds who really want to do something better in AI, also ensuring that it has to be safe and it has to be regulated in a perfect manner.
Right, we seem to have had a bit of a technical glitch with Deepika. Let's turn to Professor Datta once again. Professor, we've been speaking largely about, the who and also to some extent the what of this whole issue of AI. But we haven't really, Gautam raised the question about the AI curious. Now people like me are the AI curious. We want to know about the how a little bit. So tell us a little bit, you're an AI engineer. How is all this possible? How is AI going to be able to, let's say, bridge the digital divide, have this major impact, get all these investments, make people have a better life?
Okay, see, to answer this question, if you look at the journey of AI, in 2018, there was one model that came up from Google DeepMind. We call it transformers. It's a technical term. So GPT, T actually stands for transformer. Now let me explain you this way. Transformer is a model, it's a technology which actually made the power of AI infinite, or let's say unlimited. Now transformers are, let's say 2018 it came up, 2019, 20, 21, the industry took 2 years to absorb this. Now let's say we talk about a young startup having less amount of funds, who is actually do not have adequate amount to go for, to build a scratch model, make a foundation model. For these people, there are some interesting libraries and repositories have come up. There's something called as Hugging Face. There are more than 8 lakh models sitting on this Hugging Face. So for a young entrepreneur like a BTech student or an MTech student who has, who really do not have the ability to train a model on its own, or maybe he doesn't have access to the compute, he is in a position, and interestingly Google and some more big players have made those weights free. Weights free means the open access. Now, small players, see, AI will touch, a average man and normal man, where a normal innovator is able to make, something, an app or a utility out of it. So this still didn't happen in our country. Still AI lives with, the people who has got, let's say OpenAI, billions and millions of dollars they're investing. Google is investing billions of dollars. But slowly, the good thing is, in a country like India, or, somewhere where we need, we in our language we say frugal AI, in Hindi jugaad, where when we invest less, get more. So there, the foundation models which have been opened, the weights can be downloaded. For example, Llama 3, Llama 4. It's a Meta. It's a LLM that has come up from Meta. So young innovators at certain stage can use those open access models and train the model. Let me explain like this. For example, we want to make a Tamil app or a Oriya app. For let's say there is a typical agriculture that is done in Orissa, and you really want to make that app for an farmer living in Orissa, or let's say Tamil Nadu. Now you definitely want the entire conversation to happen in that local language. Now if you really ask, a local innovator from Tamil Nadu, a local innovator from Orissa to make a model from the foundation, it may be very difficult. But with the current times where Llama 4, or there are many more models are coming up. So I look at it this way: the revolution has started. Now a young innovator from a small village or a small city of Orissa will pick the the open foundation model given by OpenAI or let's say Google, and he will build up his model. Like we call in our language, we say either use a fine-tuning model or you can use a retrieval augmented RAG model, where the local language has been implemented, integrated. It starts, it goes back to the farmer, it goes back to the society, and slowly and steadily. To answer your question precisely, unless and until a mid-level entrepreneur, a mid-level industry is able to use AI for its own utility, for its own product, for its own process, we do not see too much thing. Otherwise, AI will remain in the topmost section of the industry of the people. Okay, but the good news is things are happening. AI is navigating. AI is intervening. So that's how I look at it, and the future is super exciting. I think this kind of, and interestingly, this Impact Summit of AI which is going on will boost it, will catalyze it, and young people who are attending, I personally went to the event today. Yeah, there was a long queue, there was a long, people are super curious about it. So things are going to happen. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Well, definitely. Prasoon, that's really because AI holds a lot of promise, because it seems to be the case, especially in a country like India, that a lot of things are supposed to happen at the same time. There's adoption, there's integration, and there's innovation. Do you think all this is already happening and which needs to be accelerated further, or do you feel that India is at the cusp of something that will really showcase to the world that India is really at the frontier of AI as well, and not just chasing a dream that already has been achieved by some of the other nations in the world, or the large multinationals, the computing powers in the world?
I think for India, AI is becoming a foundation as electricity or internet for the future economy. And in all aspects, if you see, Government of India is also not only contributing but creating a holistic ecosystem also. So like we are solving problem of payment, digital payment. UPI is one of the biggest success case globally, and global stakeholders are adopting that. Based on that, there are many applications. The small thing is that when we pay and you listen to how much money you have paid, whether it's on our nearby mother dairy booth or a sabji wala, so that language that tells you how much you have paid is also built on that. So there are India not only creating it, scaling it, and also integrating with the day-to-day routine transactions or life of the people. So this is how India very smoothly making a foundational ecosystem for AI to contribute not only to the stakeholders but to the whole economy. And next trillion will come from AI for Indian economy by integrating it into daily routine as well as to the very deep tech solutions, whether it's for our defense or for our healthcare. So India is innovating, India is building, India is also scaling the AI in a real world scenario.
Indeed. We'll come back to this discussion, but let's break down the theme of this AI Impact Summit. The India AI Impact Summit 2026 is guided by three foundational pillars. They are referred to as sutras, which articulate the core principles guiding global cooperation on AI. And these three pillars are people, which promotes human-centric AI that safeguards rights, enhances access to services, builds trust, and ensures equitable benefits across societies.
The second one is planet advancing environmentally sustainable AI by encouraging energy efficient systems, responsible resource use and applications which support climate action and environmental resilience.
And the third sutra is progress. And progress enables inclusive economic and technological advancement through innovation, capacity building, and the use of AI to drive productivity, growth, and development outcomes.
Now, the India AI Impact Summit is bringing together policymakers, industry leaders, startup founders, academicians for a wide-ranging conversation on artificial intelligence. South Asia Lead Sustainable Impact, HP Inc., Hitesh Sharma has spoken about how AI is reshaping India's job market. Listen in.
When it comes to the nature of workforce in India, it provides an opportunity to bring in larger set of use cases. And that's where we see a huge potential to be able to not just deliver, but actually learn from bottom up and bring it back into our offerings. So I think it's more of a cross-pollination and learning and delivering. So.
And Blue Machine's AI Chief Operating Officer Kshitij Jain has emphasized that every technological innovation brings a shift in the way we approach and use it. He highlighted AI as a powerful force for good, capable of enhancing human capabilities, and also stressed the need to effectively harness these tools.
We fundamentally believe that with any technological innovation, there is a shift in the order in terms of trying to understand how to utilize that technology as a tool, as a force for good. And I believe that AI will also be such a force for good in terms of augmenting the capability of all of us as humans, like in our workforce, whether it's in the media industry, in any other industry. The idea is how do we utilize these AI models, these AI tools.
Now again at the India AI Impact Summit, Ananya Sharma of Beyond Key has highlighted how AI is transforming business workflows globally. He said he sees India taking a major leap in AI adoption, awareness and tech-driven digital transformation.
This is something that will really kickstart the AI trend in India. So as of now, as we can see, China and all these countries, they are way ahead of India. But I personally believe that this is the kickstart what India was needing, and I'm sure that this will bring in a lot of business and awareness about AI within the tech community especially.
Let's turn once again to our guests. Mr. Sharma, let me turn to you. We were talking a little bit earlier about the issue of trust. Now, you were saying that you mentioned about the DPI and how UPI payments have become so popular. There is the concern also amongst, in this digital divide, where the people who are not so familiar with this technology feel that they can be easily cheated. data is so openly available, and especially a generation of people who may be in their, let's say early senior citizens. How would you look at this situation, and how best should it be dealt with?
Yeah, absolutely. When we have a new technology or a product, there are pros and cons. But I think Government of India and the stakeholders are doing the awareness how to use and how not to use it. There are like such kind of sessions where we also got involved from with the IITs for MSMEs. We also taught around 10,000 plus SC/ST community representatives how to use digital ecosystem, where we do cyber security awareness for a week or a month. So there are deliberations going on, and there are systematic way to engage with the community about the cons of this technology. And on the other side also, like we are also doing a secure cyber security aspect by innovating in this, like using our own languages, because if we use our regional languages, then there are less chances of cyber frauds. Because if you do in English communications, whether it's your OTP or whether it's your emails, it's easier for the fraudsters to decode it and build something on it. But if you are using like your regional languages for your OTP messages or other messages from bank transactions, so that will also increase the security aspect. So in terms of trust, I think with our UPI, with our Aadhaar, and facilitating around 300 plus government services through this JAM Trinity, Government of India has built enough trust in this. And I think in today in India AI Summit also, one way of getting access is to use your Digi Yatra app to enter this expo. You don't need the extra card or an access QR code. You can use your own Digi Yatra to access this expo. So this is how government is taking this into your day-to-day life to build trust. And also most important is the ease of use. How easily a citizen can use this, whether it's a payment, you just scan and pay, or you just you have to either enter railway station or airport, you just scan your Digi Yatra app. But yes, because it's new, and in our rural areas, we need to make awareness about how to use it and how not to use it. There are initiatives, but being a large demography and populations, yet more things have to be done.
Okay.
Right. Now, Professor Datta, since we're talking about how AI is to be taken forward, there is of course the concern around, as Mark mentioned, people being defrauded. There's deepfakes as well, impact on children too. And one is also expecting some sort of a declaration to make a mention of how things need to be AI needs to be taken forward with some guardrails in place. And India has done that recently as well in terms of how AI-generated images should be marked as such. But do you feel that it is possible in the first place to fetter artificial intelligence because not everyone is on board where that is concerned, and even if one is left out in terms of that broad agreement of whether AI should be regulated in some manner or not, it leaves a huge gap?
Well, this is a difficult question. I mean, but whatever I understand, let me put it. You see, I think 2 years back we had a global partnership AI event. Our Prime Minister had inaugurated. I had attended that. 26 European countries were actually participating there. There also we discussed, see, unless and until there is some kind of ethical guidelines, not only formulated, not only brought into policy, but actual implementation. Now, if you really understand whether the country is AI ready or not, when you talk about frauds and misuse of images, misuse of personal data, when you talk about this kind of thing, also the second thing is that our judiciary system, our policing system, our, the enforcement system also has to grow. The question.
In fact, people have already been drawing parallels with how the world after the Second World War, since that was when nuclear weapons were first used and last used, yes, there was a sort of an effort to ensure that there is a limit to this power, limit in terms of the powers who have it, they limit themselves and limit those who aspire to get that sort of a power. But that commonality is now diluted to a very large extent, especially with what's happened between the US and Russia of late.
So that's, you banged it correct actually. You see, the same thing that also comes in my mind. If you have the power, I mean, if you have the compute, if you have the access to the models, it's very hard to control. You can't really control an industry or a scientific community or somebody doing those kind of experiments. It's dangerous. But anyway, to answer this, unless and until we sit together as a country, as a society, and make actually ethical guidelines, things may little bit go out of control. But whenever a new technology comes up, it takes time. Government have already released, the India AI have already given you guidelines, modalities. But still, as a country in India, we are new. Even if our judiciary system, our policing system, that's what I'm trying to tell you. If there is a question, let's say I make a language model. Let's say I use a language model. I have trained the model using data which is existing in the internet. The data, belongs to some newspaper or a magazine or somebody who actually owns the data in their website. I have used it. I have made a language model. Now, please understand, the question comes, that company, let's say I'm using data from some Times of India or some Outlook, or there are so many data available on the internet. Maybe that particular magazine or the newspaper can come and ask me, you have used my data to train the model, why don't you give me some kind of revenue? Now, if I go to the court of law, we do not know whether the bench or the court, because precedents are new. These kind of things have never happened. Now, if something is free in the internet, we have trained the model with the images, with text and all these things, whether we are supposed to use it, and if you use it, what is the revenue to be given, how the sharing has to be done. I don't think there are very concrete guidelines, but when these kind of events like your this Impact Summit that is happening, it will make sense that there are so many panel discussions, there are so many, meetings, panel discussions, lectures on these sensitive topics. We are moving closer, we are moving closer to converge this, make some kind of sensible convergence. We need to sit together and put our things, unless, if you run away of it, I mean, if let's say there's China is a big player, China is big player, US is big player, so unless and until there is some kind of convergence looking into the broader human aspects. See, AI has power, data has power, compute has power, but human aspects has to be, above all this. And I believe that this kind of impact, 100+ countries coming up, top leaderships coming up, government heads coming up, the big player CEOs coming up, I'm hopeful that things will converge. Definitely it is supposed to converge. And these legal systems, the judiciary, the guidelines, the enforcement, you can't expect them to happen overnight. But
so this is an evolutionary process. But Mr. Sharma, let's try and understand how best one can make use of the infrastructure in place. Or should one, Professor Datta was talking a little while earlier about Jugaad. And the idea, I mean, we seem to be looking at the best possible or the cheapest solution to get the maximum benefit. But in an infrastructure which is entirely digital, what kind of quality should that infrastructure have for India to actually be up there, to be competing, let's say, with China and the US that Professor Datta spoke about?
So in terms of infrastructure, in a simple term, to run AI, first you need algorithms, second you need data, which is including good and bad data, and then the compute. And to run that compute, you need a power supply, a good amount of power supply or a data center for that. So the first aspect is we should have our own algorithms, which LLMs we are developing for our own usage. China is doing much faster as there are different companies supported by their ecosystem are developing algorithms for themselves. India and China are in unique positions because there are only two countries in the world with billion-plus populations. So they are data producing countries. They can create the amount of data which no other countries can, create, and that is a kind of oil for all the AI algorithms. And then to run that, we need compute. So one unique thing Indian government has done is they have mass procured the GPUs and they are giving access on a nominal basis charges to MSMEs and startups. This is a one of kind of initiatives done by any government globally, which is commendable because MSMEs or startups, if they have to do it by themselves, it's very expensive. And sometimes even if you are ready to pay, you will not get the access to GPUs. So that infrastructure has been paid. Secondly, we will be needing a lot of compute and data storage for that. Recently, in our budget, they have announced like a tax rebate for data center implementations, around 20 plus years of tax rebate to the companies. This will definitely, boost the infrastructure for AI innovation and data related aspect, including AI and machine learning and IoT based services. And it will bring, funding up to 200 billion or more to India. Around 42 billion has been already announced with three giants, whether it's AWS, Google, and Microsoft. We will see maybe during this summit more announcement from corporates to invest in India in various ways. So in terms of infrastructure, as you asked, we have done a lot, but there are a lot many things has to be done in terms of quality. Still, we are lacking of a good quality of algorithms for our own usage, customized for Bharat. And second, the compute, and to support that compute, we need a lot of power, whether it's through solar or other means.
Okay. Professor Datta, do you feel that both in terms of making AI more affordable and efficient in terms of the energy usage, which right now is huge, the kind of energy that is required to for these algorithms to process all that data in GPUs that was being referred to here by Prasoon. Do you feel that progress can be made when people in terms of the stakeholders, all the stakeholders, government, non-government, they all sit together as they have started today for the next 5 days at the India AI Impact Summit?
Yes, this is a major question. The carbon footprint coming out of the data centers are extremely high. So, it's not one man's job. If I break down the pipeline of this AI entire pipeline, this conservation of energy and carbon footprint control, it's not at one stage. It is the technologists, the engineers, the scientists, the users, the end users has to be responsible. Let me explain like this. I think last year there was a lot of noise coming up from China. There was a company called DeepSeek which came up, and they were making a lot of noise. In fact, I was there in this very room discussing about that particular thing also. So what was that great? Actually, one particular day, the US giants like NVIDIA and some of the US giants market crashed in one single day when the China had launched it. Now let me explain in very simple way what was that all about. They had given a model called as MOE, mixture of experts. Now, what essentially it does, let me explain in the layman's language.
Yes, please.
Let's say a model has got 80 billion parameters. Now, 80 billion parameters in simple terms, if you ask me because I am a scientist, there will be 80 billion linear algebra operation, 80 billion probabilistic operations, 80 billion gradient calculation through a differential calculus. So just imagine if for one single problem, let's say we write how are you and why there is a problem in India, in US or in Russia and Ukraine, you put that command in GPT, there are 80 billion operations happening at the background. Now to cool down these 80 billion operations, you will need at least 5 liters of water, maybe 1.5, 2 liter depending on certain things. You need water or some kind of cooling agencies to cool it down. Now let me explain like this. This Chinese company, what they did, they broke down the entire algorithm in such a way. They did a softmax function. Depending on the task, they made subnets, and they say if it is a mathematical question, only 10 million parameters of the model will be activated. If it's a political question, only 10 million or 5 million parameters will be activated. So accordingly, instead of activating all the 80 million parameters every time, it makes subnets. So automatically a full net, if you make 20 subnets, for every task that you do, you are reducing the compute cost by 1/20th, which effectively means you are also reducing the carbon footprint by 1/20th. It was a big thing, OpenAI, NVIDIA company's market
DeepSeek.
crashed actually in one single day, because if such things happens, immediately the carbon footprint and the power controls, will be much better in comparison to what we do. So now this is one. Number two, through this national television, I would also request, the young people, the not so young people, do not use Gemini or do not use Open ChatGPT for fun. Every time you write a prompt, you get an image or you get a text, somewhere in the world some 2 liters or 3 liters of water are being used to cool down the server. Servers are melting somewhere, maybe in United States, I don't know, there are servers across the world. Let's not play with these things, every prompt you give in a GPT or a Gemini or a DeepSeek, it is costing the environment somewhere. Let's be responsible in that also. The third, the lawmakers and the enforcement, we have to ensure, to what extent the utilization of AI has to be integrated. It surely cannot be done for fun. At certain stage, you have to, make some kind of control. We cannot use AI for, something which is really, really not needed. We need to protect our environment. See, my bread and butter is AI. So it comes from my mouth saying that you cannot plug in AI everywhere because it is costing the environment somewhere. So, but once again, let me tell you, this is the whole pipeline. It is not the user or the scientist or the, the mechanical engineering who is cooling or the chemical engineer who is actually making some kind of coolants to do it. It's a combined responsibility. It's a combined, the pipeline has to be more responsible and we should be more responsible.
Professor Datta, that brings me back to the same question that I raised earlier, which you actually referred to, this Jugaad ecosystem. Yes. Now, I mean, if we create a Jugaad ecosystem, can we actually reduce, like DeepSeek had done, similar costs and also costs to the environment?
You see, I told you, there are billion parameters compute to be done. See, for me, if you ask me what is AI, I'm a scientist, I will tell you AI is 3 steps. Every time there is a linear algebra, forward propagation, there is an error calculation, that is through a probability, and the third is a differential calculus to be done for the back propagation. There is a differential, calculus and a back propagation done. No, sir,
but it's not starting from scratch every time, sir. Every time it moves on, it's learned. The machine has learned.
So yeah, let me come there. So that's what I was mentioning. If you take foundation models, and fine tune it, because RAG is another thing. RAG. Retrieval, augment, generative. This is interesting. Now, if you put a RAG on the top of an LLM, it is really, really saving, and Indians are very good at that. I tell you, not less than 1,000 startups have come up. LLM plus RAG, that's a super hot thing in AI industry. LLM means large language model plus RAG. RAG is the retrieval, augmented, generate. Now, you see, if you put it, it actually means you are not fine-tuning your model every day or every month. No, this is a Jugaad, this is a top-up, where you're making a vector database and, just updating your data rather than fine-tuning the model. Well, to answer your question once again, in a country like India, I have seen young fellows, even in the summit also, they are making lightweight models. When I say lightweight models, they bring 80 billion parameters to 1 billion parameters. They bring it to 500 million parameters. They bring it to 5 million parameters. The work is ongoing. So when we start, in our language, we say lightweight models. Models. We say low parameter. Parameter is the defining terms. So if you can bring the parameters to millions, let's say 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, you can train AI models in your cell phone. You do not need those supercomputing machines and those GPUs, etc. So Indians are good at Jugaad. I have seen people, they are training AI models in single board computer. Single board computer comes from 10,000 rupees, like a Raspberry Pi or a Jetson Nano. They're doing it. So to answer your question or to conclude it, the future is bright. Indians are really, really doing it, and they're doing it faster. See, in terms of low-cost computing, in terms of low-parameter modeling, Indians are actually doing better than the foundation model creators like which are in US or China. We are doing better actually. The startup culture is better.
And it just tells that there's a lot more innovation still to come where artificial intelligence is concerned. But let's see what Union Electronics and Information Technology Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw has said today, that he's in fact said that India's rapidly expanding creator economy and is being powered by the country's strong digital infrastructure and skilled population. In a conversation during the session on the official satellite event of the AI Impact Summit in New Delhi, the minister highlighted the transformative impact of artificial intelligence across sectors. He further said that the India AI Impact Summit aims to understand AI's real impact on human society and expressed hope that the deliberations during the event would yield meaningful outcomes.
As a country, believe in the creators, the value that the creators have brought in, either through their content or through their different ways of expressing themselves, different ways of telling the story. In fact, that is one of the reasons our country hosts a large number of global capability centers. If the creators get a chance to deploy their skills, protect their copyrights, protect the fruits of their creative energy, then the growth between today and tomorrow will be very high.
All right, so that's something that was pertaining to the orange economy, and AI can have a huge impact on that as well. Let's explore that aspect of artificial intelligence as well. Prasoon Sharma, what can you tell us about how AI is empowering creators right now, and what is the the further scope here? Because it's just a beginning, really, isn't it? Where the orange economy is also concerned, where its integration with AI is being taken forward.
I think that will contribute to our regional content as well engagement. Like we can see your agents, like DD will have your recordings, and if somebody wants to know more about a particular subject, they can question to that agent that what Mark has said, about AI. So that kind of content creation and the libraries of content will be reused multiple times. And I think it will boost the basic knowledge structures also in rural India's. Now, students from villages can learn about compute, they can learn about how to code at their own ease. And not only just they can learn about watching a video of how to code a Python code for maybe like a script writing or something like that, but also they can do their Q&As or question answers about a prompt, like why this Python prompt is not running, what is the error in this code. So that will enable them to access this technology, access the knowledge, and based on that their efficiency and capability will increase. So this will be a new revolutions in India, specifically in our regional languages. In our cultural tech also, this will improve, whether it's our like Hatkarga employee, he wants to sell his own artifacts or what he's building. So he can just give a voice command to some of the agents that describe this maybe silk sari which I made, and he will tell in his own regional languages like Hindi or Bengali, and that will be transcribed in a very good marketing material, which can be can be sold to in different languages to global audience. So this will help the strategic visions of Indian government when they have done like FTAs with European unions. When our farmers would like to sell their products in Europe, to sell that products, they need to create their marketing content in European languages, and our content creators or our artifacts or our cultural things which is in great demand in Western world. So this will help our artifacts or MSMEs to build their content, to make various content accessible in different languages. Like Europe use multiple languages, so they can make their marketing content in German, in France, in other languages, just with the click of this AI-based applications. So this will boost our economy. This will also generate a new kind of jobs, which is like enablers or content creators for these MSMEs, for these farmers, for these even learners also. So this is a great time for these content creators, for the knowledge seekers, and also to sell our products globally. Even you don't know their language, even like if a farmer from Maharashtra wants to sell his crop to Germany or France, he or she needs to know what are the compliances, how he can, maintain the quality needed for German market. So these kind of content will come through these knowledge creators and educate them. And I think Government of India is also providing a strategic ecosystem to enable this. Like we have our own language model under the Ministry of IT and Electronics. We are also creating a AI coach where different kind of problem statements has been, logged digitally. So if somebody wants that, I need a IVR based response system for my food processing industry in English, Germany, and French, you can search that and then you can enable it for that. So I think it's a great time for this, and it will create jobs, it will create awareness, and it will also contribute to our economy.